Good afternoon, grinders. This is your NBA SimLabs analysis for Wednesday, February 26th. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka BlenderHD, BlenderHD. If you want to follow me on Twitter, and hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. Give me those thummy thumbs, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to always know when we go live. And that's something you need to do today. The injury report is wow. We got Porzingis questionable. We got Bam Adebayo, questionable. We got Claxton is suspended, so he's going to be out. We got Vucevic is doubtful. We got Halliburton questionable. Towns questionable. Markkanen's out. Barnes is questionable. Then we got Pirtle questionable. We got a whole bunch of John Collins is out. Walker Kessler is questionable. A lot of moving parts today. So I definitely suggest you tune into Grinders Live in crunch time later today on the channel, 5 p.m. Eastern, and they'll get you up to speed if anything changes. But here at RotoGrinders, our projections will always put in the questionable players. So like our current SimLabs analysis does have all those questionable players still in the pool, still in the Sims. So what you should be doing is, if something changes, our projections will update, our ownership will update, everything will update. The Sims will update. They'll get a little timestamp on the bottom, and then you rerun your lineups, you rerun your research. Right? And because SimLabs, you can run this stuff in 2 or 3 minutes, right? This is very quick, especially if you're just looking for, 1, 2, 3 lineups. It's very, very easy to do, and I'll show you. Like, let's say it's 6:30 right now, 6:30 Eastern. Everything's fine, and you just look through and you go, okay, it's a 9-game slate. We're playing large field GPP. There's a big contest tonight. So large field contest, which means we're most likely to get a little bit more contrarian than usual. I also like looking at this optimal versus projected ownership chart. This is for every position. It says here that, Tyler Hero is going to be over-owned. But what does that really mean? Over-owned doesn't mean you can't play him, but it means that we have his projected ownership at about 26%, and we have his optimal rate at about 17%. So that's 9 points. He's 9 percentage points higher owned than his optimal rate, but 16% is a pretty good optimal rate, especially in a 9-game slate. So it's not like, he's 9 percentage points over-owned because his optimal rate is 2 and he's going to be owned 11%, like something like that. So I don't necessarily think that you have to, completely avoid Tyler Hero or something like that. If you want to play him, play him. I think the main question is what's going on at center today. Okay, so it's, the common construction is going to be cheap center. A lot of people have maybe even be playing 2 cheap centers because we have Day'Ron Sharpe, 4,200. I mean, the 2 most owned plays of the entire slate as of now are cheap centers. Day'Ron Sharpe, 4,200. Zach Collins, 4,400. Obviously, Claxton suspended, so Sharpe probably. Well, I mean, the Nets could do God knows what, but probably he ends up coming in. We have him projected for 22 minutes. With 4,200 as a center, pretty good value. He plays more than that. I mean, he could totally smash. And then he has Zach Collins. We have him projected for 27 minutes with Vucevic out or doubtful. Vucevic is doubtful. Most likely he doesn't play. Based on our Sims, we have them both as over-owned. So basically, Zach Collins right now in the Sims we have him projected ownership of 37%, his optimal rate 21%. Day'Ron Sharpe we have projected as 33% owned, and his optimal rate is 11%. So Zach Collins, they're both over-owned, but Day'Ron Sharpe is very over-owned compared to his optimal rate. Because I'm just looking at the centers in general. Like we have Alperen Sengun has a 26% optimal rate. Obviously, he's 8,500, so you're gonna have to pay more for him. So you see here, 9 percentage points under-owned. Okay, because that's what that means. 26% optimal. We have him projected owned to be about 16%. So 10 points, 10 percentage points over/under. Doesn't mean Alperen Sengun is a good play. No, it just means that you get more leverage by playing him, according to our Sims. Day'Ron Sharpe, Zach Collins, you get less leverage by playing them. Now we're playing large field contest. we're probably going to get a little bit different. Do we want to play a Zach Collins, Day'Ron Sharp lineup? Well, the Sims may tell us that we probably shouldn't be playing that lineup anyway in a large field contest. But you could choose which one. I mean, the Sims aren't going to say here. The SimLabs will produce 50,000 different lineups. A lot of them fairly equal to each other, right? These are lineups that rate out pretty well that you could play, especially in large field. You can get a lot more. So you could find a lineup that maybe you want to play both cheap centers. You go, can I find a way to get different enough with both cheap centers? Well, you put that in. If you want to play one over the other, you put one. You play neither of them. What do lineups look like that don't have Collins or Sharp? How many are there? Maybe there aren't that many. So it's more about lineups and not about players. So like in this instance, if I'm going to play one of these guys, I'm probably going to play Zach Collins based on our Sims. There's about the similar price, and Collins has an optimal rate that's almost twice as high as Day'Ron Sharp. So I'm gonna exclude Sharp, Day'Ron Sharp, and I'm gonna lock in Zach Collins. So this is what you would be doing to find the lineups that you want to play. So I mean, we can just simply look at this for now. At the 20 lineup, let's see. And you see how quick this goes. Like 2 seconds. I mean, look at this. So here we go. See, we go. They're playing 94, 93, 93, 90. I mean, these are all fine. These are all fine. We could scroll down. They're all fine. This top one right here, Hero, Daniels, Oubre, Avdija, Collins, Ball, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Clarkson at 3.5%. Okay, this is a large field contest. I mean, this isn't all that crazy. I mean, it's a 9-game slate, so a lot of the ownership is going to be spread around. Here's another one with Zach Collins and Tyler Hero. I mean, it seems like a lot of bulls today. Zach Collins, Lonzo Ball. Zach Collins, Lonzo Ball. So maybe that's the combination we want. Maybe we don't play. I mean, you could choose anything. I mean, you could choose. You could go like, well, I don't want to play Jeremy Grant today, or you don't want to play Tyler Hero today, or you could choose that and just find the lineups that you want to play. That at least rate. The whole point is the ones that rate high, right? And the combination of players that you put in produce lineups that have all these bars are red and it says 12 or whatever. It's basically telling you don't play it. So you can make choices. You can be like, well, do I want to play Dyson Daniels at 6,700 at Miami? Well, Dyson Daniels' optimal rate is 8.82%, and he's projected to be 22% owned. Right? We can see here on the shooting guard list that Dyson Daniels is heavily overowned. So maybe we don't play Dyson Daniels lineups. With Dyson Daniels and Day'Ron Sharp, we're excluding. Let's say we want to play a Ball Collins lineup. So if we're going to play Zach Collins, we're going to play Lonzo Ball. Then we're going to choose, for whatever reason, you could have your own take. Let's say you have your own take that Tyler Hero, that's who you're. Well, we want to play Sengun. Let's put in Sengun. We want to try this. Okay, so now you have that. Before we even have any takes, let's see what these lineups look like. Are there lineups that look like this that have Collins, Barn, Ball, Sengun? So basically, has to use a utility spot for that, and then doesn't have Sharp and Daniels. And what do they look like? What do they look like? What are they rated? 89, 16. Okay, not that many, right? It's only trying to give me, basically one lineup, right? If you want to play a lineup like this would be the lineup with a 0.9% Paul George. So it's telling. So if we take out Daniel, let's say we want to just play the combination of these three and don't exclude anyone else. With Collins, Ball, and Sengun. Yeah, it's really, yeah, you're really getting, yeah, there's not much here. SimLabs is let's put in the high results range. Let's see if we can get more. Let's see if we can get more lineups that look somewhat. No, it's basically telling you it's like this one is fine is if you're willing to play a 1% owned Paul George, but outside of that, are you playing 3 Rockets here with Collins? Like this with a 1.1% owned Tyrese Maxey? You're probably not playing the Sixers today. Right. So basically, it's telling you this combination is not all that common that come up in the Sims. So maybe how about we just play Alperen Sengun lineups that don't have Sharp in it. Like, what do these look like? These may look a little bit better. And what do they look like? Okay, 91, 88. Okay, there are plenty of them. Okay. So we got Sengun and Kessler. Obviously, he's questionable. Zubac, Sengun. So we're not even playing Collins in these lineups at all. So you're fading both of them, Sharp and Collins. And these you play Sabonis at center instead. Kessler if he plays instead. And here's the Zach Collins one. So here's one. It's okay, right? Jordan Poole at 4%. You're playing Jalen Williams, questionable at 0.1%. You're playing very, very contrarian lineups. Tim Hardaway at 3,700. I mean, we're in a high results range, so we're gonna get some of these lineups. This is large field. Hey, this is large field stuff, people. Right? If we went down to single entry, I mean, this stuff would go away. Let's put under single entry, and these lineups. Probably, we get different types of lineups. So here's the Zach Collins lineup that still has Tim Hardaway. I mean, he's a cheap guy, right? Because you need to fill in some type of value play here. Okay, this isn't that bad, right? With Sengun and Collins in it, but you're not playing Hero. You're not playing Jeremy Grant, right? So this is a contrarian enough of a lineup. But this is what you could do with the SimLabs, right? Put in the players you have takes on. I mean, even if you don't want to look at who's overowned, who's underowned. I mean, if you're playing a single entry contest and you're like, I want for whatever reason, I'm just gonna I want to play Trenton Watford. I mean, I'm just coming up with a weird example. I want to play and Siakam because that's you have takes. I think the matchup is great or whatever. You think it's the Wednesday, the last Wednesday when the moon is out or whatever, and that's when Siakam comes out and acts like a werewolf. Okay, that's fine. So you want to do this, and you don't want to play Zach Collins, and you don't want to play Jeremy Grant or whatever. You go, okay, and then you're playing a single entry contest, and okay, what are lineups that look like this? Not many. It's basically telling you don't do it, right? It can't even come up with lineups like this, and you go, well. I don't care. Well, don't complain when you lose. That's essentially what SimLabs is doing for you. That's why I like this. You can put in combinations and what types of contests you're playing, and it could tell you that it's a bad idea, or it could tell you it's a good idea, or it could tell you that, well, if I don't play this guy and I do play this guy, what do the lineups look like? That's really the point. It's not about picking players. It's about picking lineups, and you could save all your lineups. You could play, you could do this throughout the day. You'd say, okay, I'm going to save 1, 2, 3 from this build. I'm going to save a couple from this build, right? You can even see your exposures here when it's out here. If we look at the current build, right, it'll show you, and you could just see whichever lineups you want. You could sync at the lineup HQ if you're a premium member, right? And you can do that throughout the day. And then by the end of it, you're like, okay, I got the 20 lineups in my 20 max that I'm playing. And then you could download the lineup into your CSV and upload it. And there, you're done. So yeah. So according to today, as of now, if everything doesn't change, we got the underowned, the overowned players today. Tyler Hero by a little, Jeremy Grant by a little, Siakam by a bunch. Obviously, both Collins and Sharp will be overowned, but it's going to be hard to get away from playing at least one of them, right? And then Dylan Brooks, Andrew Wiggins. I mean, they're just a little overowned. Dyson Daniels, very overowned. And the guys that are underowned are like, I guess, Drew Holiday. I mean, not by that much. Chris Middleton, Jason Tatum, Alperen Sengun, Chris Middleton, Tatum, Kispert. I mean, George, but I mean, it's saying like this is the point. It's like George is 4% underowned, but he's only 1%, going to be 1% owned. Like percentage ownership wise, projected 1%, optimal 5%. It's not like you got to play Paul George. So you put things into perspective. I'm looking at the ownership right now. So I can see it's like, okay, even though Paul George is on the list, it's not like it's going to be very owned. Yeah, De'Aaron Fox, Keontae George. Yeah, but not by that much. I mean, these are marginal. So yeah, so that's your SimLabs analysis that you could get as part of the Combo Light package here on RotoGrinders. $29.99 full access to SimLabs, every option, 4 major sports, NFL, NBA, MLB, and PGA. You get all of our IQ tools also, Court IQ, Plate IQ, Gridiron IQ. Those are our research tools, as well as all of our premium written content. That's for the 4 major sports. So it's much better. I mean, it's cheaper than the Combo Pro package, where you get everything, including the lineup HQ, including everything upon everything. But if you're playing the 4 major sports and you're playing, a couple of lineups a night, even if you're playing 150 a night, to get access to SimLabs, which use our projections here at RotoGrinders, as well as our ownership, our 10,000 plus simulations, and you still want to get write-ups. You still want to get our consensus value rankings, our expert surveys, things like that. All of our analysts' takes. I mean, you get that also for the 4 major sports. So go sign up for that today by hitting that link in the description for more info. But if you're not going to do that, at least give me that thumbs up button. Give me those thumbs. I like seeing them. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to know when we go live. We'll be live later today, 5 p.m. Eastern, followed by crunch time. All those Q tags. Hopefully we get some news, and you'll know about that during those shows. And I'll see you next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'm here giving you SimLabs analysis here at RotoGrinders.com.